Hi friends, it's David from Southgate Imaging. So today I have another interesting one, I think. So we're going to compare the Yamaha FS5 to all its competitors. And obviously the most known competitor is going to be the Martin 00018. So that's what we're going to do. I'm looking forward to this. So the obvious competitor is going to be Martin 00018, and it might be the easiest discussion because those guitars, the FS5 and the 00018, are so similar. Obviously this was modeled after a 00018, so everything the 00018 does, really the Yamaha does. So, you know, the overview of course is a solid Sitka spruce top, solid mahogany back and sides. Austere appointments, I would say. It's not a blingy guitar, neither one really are. Ebony bridge and fingerboard, open back tuners, retro tuners. It's really, it's the same model. Short scale, 000 size, so they're really similar. This was obviously modeled after the 000 a lot. So where do they differ? Well, probably slightly in sound. My understanding is the Martin has slightly lighter bracing, making it a little bit more resonant. But sound-wise, with the ARE top that's on the Yamahas now, but the Martin doesn't really have a Torfi top, they are very close. And really my thesis is they are so close, it's really what your ears are telling you. It's like they are so very close. So if you got 66-year-old ears, you may not tell them the difference, or what your hearing loss is hearing may be the way you're responding to the guitar. I think they're that close. And I actually think they're that close that a different type of guitar strings can bring out whatever you're looking for to a large degree. So for example, if you play this, maybe you think this is bassier than 00018. You can probably put Martin Monels on this and it's going to take away some of that bass response. So they can be tuned so easily to get exactly what you want. So my thesis is really that a set of strings, the right set of strings, can move this either guitar to exactly where you want to be. The other interesting thing I've noticed in the resale market, I'll see it all the time now. People are selling their 00018s and buying FS5s or FS3. So it's really interesting to see that. So what that is kind of telling me is that people are seeing how good these are, and if they can move out of the Martin and recover their investment, they're doing that and moving into a Yamaha. So I see that a lot. Yes, you'll see people doing it the other way and quote trading up to the Martin, which is fine. You'll see them do that too. So it really all depends. But my thesis is they're so close they can be tuned by string choice, really. If you really want that Martin headstock, well, you're going to pay for that Martin headstock, and that's your prerogative. You will generally get your money back anyway. So it's whatever you like. But that's what I think. I think they're so close. I think that's where they're at. Next obvious competitor that probably isn't discussed that much is simply a Yamaha FS3. And yeah, I've owned FS3s and I've owned FSX3s, and they are stellar guitars as well. Are they close to FS5s? Yes. I would say that the quality FS3 varies more though than the FS5. When I'm saying quality, the build quality and primarily the setup. So I've seen some FS3s that didn't have good setups. If you have a good luthier that you trust, they can probably bring your FS3 to wherever you want to be. But what I have noticed with FS3s, when they're set up low, the fingerstyle player is going to like, there's almost no saddle left at the bridge in some of the ones I've seen. And I just can't see spending that kind of money with a bridge that's not going to accommodate a saddle of any more than like nothing. So to me, that's a problem. So if you choose your FS3 wisely, I think you can do fine. Construction wise, the FS3s are a little different. They actually have a different saddle. FS5 has a wider, a thicker, not wider this way, but a thicker saddle this way than an FS3. So they're not interchangeable. On the FS5 it's bone, and bone nut and saddle. FS3 is urea. To be honest, some people's ears can't tell the difference anyway. And if that's the case, why would you pay for an FS5 if you don't really need that? The other thing that really in the last 6 months with the release of the FS5 gloss, the gloss kind of brings the FS5 a little more upmarket. A lot of people still like the satin and the old FS5s, and I understand that. My preference would be gloss, and so, you know, it's something they're using now to segment the two. But a good FS3 compared to an average FS5, man, there's not that much that separates them. Your ears would have to be really good to notice the difference, I think. So a very legit competitor. It all depends on where you stand with that. So the next competitor, if you want, is a guitar I used to own, the Martin 00016. And the 16 is an interesting guitar. I would say it gets you about maybe 60% of the way to something like this for the 00018. So the 16 is a longer scale guitar, and it's the more narrow nut. So to me, the attraction to the 00018 and FSA is the 1 3/4 inch nut for fingerstyle players, right? It's a must. You really got to have that. And so the 00016 just doesn't have that. The sound was okay. The one I had, it was just okay. It wasn't a destination guitar. I think I went through the guitar in about 3 months. It was just like, nah, I had better guitars. To be honest, at the time, the guitar I went to after that was a Seagull SWS concert hall. And that's an interesting guitar. So in America, you may not be as familiar with that, but Seagull came out with a solid wood series guitar, and at the time, a new size, which was called concert hall, which is really a 000. And it had, it was all solid. It was solid silicate top, solid mahogany back inside. And it was a smoking guitar. And back in the day, this was a while back now, this is like 15 years ago, those were retailing on sale at Lon McQuaid for like $3.99 without a case. And that was like just a smoking deal. And that was with a pickup. They were just unbelievable deals at the time. And then they kind of sold out of those. They changed the pickup. They rebranded them a little bit, and they just went up market like crazy. How close is something like that? Well, I owned one for a number of years, probably 4 years. I actually sold it to a buddy of mine, and we may actually revisit that guitar one night when they're over for a jam. So you may actually see that same guitar. So that was a really good guitar. How close is that to this? I would say the SWS was built tighter, so it's a heavier built guitar. It doesn't ring quite like these do, but it's you know, maybe 75-80% of the way there. They're a very good guitar. The one I had was 1.8 inch nut, which doesn't really feel any bigger than a normal 1 3/4 inch nut. So there was a lot of really good things about that guitar. The build quality was good. They looked really good. They had herringbone around the sound hole, herringbone around the body. It was, you know, they're very nice guitars. If you see them around, they're still around. They're worth looking at. The next step up in the Seagull line is the Seagull Artist, which is really just more bling. It's pretty much the same woods. It's really the same construction. They're even more rare, but they're around. But they usually are retailing around, to be honest, even used $1,000 to $1,200, maybe Canadian, maybe even more. I don't know if they're really worth the step up from the SWSs. The SWSs was really the solid wood value point. I don't think you're really going any farther. So, is it really the equivalent to an FS5? No, it's not. Is it close? It really is. If you find one at a good price and you're really itching for that triple O, it's the right guitar, no question about it. So that would be the Seagull. So that would be the Seagull. A couple of the other options I owned would be Recording King RO18, which is a really interesting guitar. Again, it was a triple O. The O is like O would be a triple O size. They have an RD, which is their dreadnought, and a 318. It's their knockoff of 18 series. So basically, it's a direct competitor for the triple O 18. The one I had was very good. The quality control really is loose, let's just say that. Talking to the dealers around town that used to carry them, they don't carry them anymore because they probably 50% of them came back. So at least the sample size that I've talked to dealers locally, they weren't held in high regard. The one I had was absolutely fine. I bought it used. I looked it over really good before I bought it, and it was a good guitar. They sound good, though. Man, they may be a little brighter. They may be a little brighter than the FS5 or the Martin Triple O, but man, they're really good. The sound-wise, I don't think you can really fault them. The neck, it had a kind of a V-shaped neck, which is and a larger neck. So if you get on with it, it's really good. It's hard to explain. The V-neck can support your thumb kind of area of your hand a lot better. So if it works for you, they're great guitars. Some people just can't get on with the neck. I was kind of neutral on it. Eventually got sold because there's other guitars you just picked up. But as far as sound and playability, mine had a great setup. I had really no issues with it, so I got on well. You just don't see them around that much anymore. The dealers stopped carrying them locally here in Halifax. I just don't see that much buzz about them anymore. And so they'd be hard to come by. But if you find one at the right price, man, they're a smoking guitar. I think when I bought mine, I paid $350 Canadian for it, and it wasn't that long ago. It was probably 4 or 5 years ago. So you can find some really nice bargains on those, and they're great guitars. Just make sure that, you know, the big thing I would check with them is the fretwork can be loose. So basically, you just go up and down. Just go up and down the neck, check for dead frets. That's a big thing. Make sure you like the playability of it. Just look for, like I say, belly bulge, that kind of stuff. And if you find a good one, they can be a very good guitar. And if you pay $400 for one, it's always going to be worth $400. So you can keep it for a couple of years and get your money out of it, and you won't be that disappointed with it. And it might be a lifetime guitar for you. Who knows? So that's a competitor. The other one that I've had that is close in a similar vein, but close but not close, will be a Gill OM 120. And the Gill OM 120 is obviously OM size. It was short scale. It played, the one I had played wonderfully. Gill was actually purchased by Yamaha, and I haven't seen I really don't see any of the 120s around anymore. The local dealers have the laminate series in stock from time to time, but the OM 120 was all solids, built in China, and the one I had was quite good. It was really just that. The one I had was upgraded to bone nut and saddle by the original owner, and it sounded really good. It sounded quite different than this because you got a mahogany top, so it's an even drier sound. But again, you know, depending on what you play, like I was influenced a lot by like Eric Clapton Unplugged, and if you're playing that kind of stuff, the OM 120 is just a super guitar. So it's in the kind of same league as these, but it's different. And again, the quality control on those instruments was somewhat iffy. So if you find one and it's a good one, it's probably going to always be a good one. So that's where I would leave that. So there you have it, really. In my opinion, the competitors to this, the easiest discussion is between the FS5 and the 00018, because they are what they are. They're both very good instruments, and your ears may tell you which one you want. If your heart wants the Martin, you should buy the Martin, because you're never going to be happy with the Yamaha. But if your heart tells you the Yamaha is the one for you, buy the Yamaha. Don't really settle at that level, because these are really destination guitars, and you really should be happy with the guitar. If it's like anything, if you always wanted a Corvette, a Camaro may not be the car for you, and it's the same thing. I don't really look at them as that different. Is this the Camaro compared to the Corvette? No, it's not. This is just a very nice guitar that's very comparable to the 00018. Anyway, I hope you found that somewhat interesting. They're all guitars that I've owned in the past, and I bought for reasons and I sold for reasons, so that's the way she goes. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. And if you have any comments, let me know your experience with your FS5s and anything that you've had to compare it with. I always find these discussions very interesting. Anyway, thanks and have a great day.